Okay, so let's just put Fede Alvarez in charge of reigniting Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Omen. I guess Hellraiser if he has time, because this dude brought Evil Dead back from the dead, and now he's finally given us a third good Alien movie.
3, 2, 1.
Alienromulus, it's just another Alien movie. In the 70s and 80s, they were great. In the 90s, they were the shitty ones with Sigourney Weaver. And in the 2010s, Ridley Scott, I think he just took too many drugs in the 70s and 80s. And consequently, his mind was on really weird philosophical bullshit by then. But in the 2020s, they're back, they're cool, and they are just, you know what? It is, at its base level, just another Alien movie, okay? But it's not about that. It's about how well you execute it and how you move with the times. Because let's face it, the last time they did a proper just an Alien movie was like 92 with Alien 3. They haven't done just that simple premise since then. And frankly, there are so many things we know about space now and so many things we can do with action sequences, with fight scenes now, that it feels so much more impressive than anything we've seen from these films in so long. So there's this horrible place where everyone wants to escape, but they've all been locked up by a dystopian company into contracts that they'll just never be able to work their way out of. But enough about Ready Player One. Let's talk about Alien Romulus. It stars Kaylee Spenny, who is fantastic, I gotta say, and David Johnson, also fantastic. Both of them essentially making their blockbuster debut. Kaylee Spenny's done some stuff before, but not on this level. And that is great. That is a real breath of fresh air. This is a huge, big, blockbuster film. They didn't feel the need to put a bunch of A-listers in it. I'm looking at you, Milky Fassbender, yeah. So you've got Kaylee Spenny, who is playing a teenager because she's only 26, so she's got at least 4 more good years of that. And David Johnson, who is her android brother, which is a fascinating thing, I gotta say. This franchise and its relationship with androids, weird, but it really felt like it was furthered a lot and in interesting, relatable ways in this. I liked it a lot. So them and their friends are going to go up to this abandoned ship. Don't know how they're getting there before anyone else. That's not relevant. And they're going to klepto a bunch of stuff because, as with all late-stage capitalistic societies, crime just seems more and more viable option every day. So they're on Big Abandoned Ship. Oops, it's not Big Abandoned Ship. Nope, there's a lot of little alien guys, and there's also Bilbo BaggAIns. That kind of works. And they gotta say, they did a lot better things with the little xenomorphs in this than I think they've done in any of the other films. They made them a lot just scarier. They made those sequences a lot more intense. They didn't just, someone's been grabbed. No, that's boring. They can do cool shit with those as well, and they proved that with this. And then they get big xenomorph, and then they gotta deal with that. And then there's multiple big xenomorphs. This film didn't feel the need. In Alien 3, it was all like, oh, there's just one. Oh, don't worry, it's just one again. It felt the need to, whoa, as if aliens was a gimmick. It's a whole species. You don't have to just do one, but you also don't have to make it a big, oh, let's go next level and have like 500 of them thing. You can there's a happy in between, and this film found it. So they have some really interesting sequences. They do some funky stuff with genetics, and they do link to Prometheus and Alien Covenant. They don't just dump those out the airlock, which, if I'd been making the film, I would have been tempted to do, honestly, but they don't, and you've got to admire the way that they've managed to kind of pull all the threads together, have a bunch of Easter eggs in there that relate to, Predators were in there, and there was links, I think, to, like, Ripley and her ship being around the Romulus station at some stage, and there's a lot of interesting stuff there. Romulus is a horror movie, and first and most importantly, but it does such excellent things with every genre this franchise has visited. It does even have that slightly, like, philosophical, those interesting discussions that the two androids had with each other. It felt like they were trying to, keep some of that going for Prometheus and Covenant without the entire film feeling like it was just there to serve that purpose. It did some really fun things with action sequences. The zero gravity bit with all the xenomorphs coming at her. That's good. The way they had xenomorphs like blending into the background sometimes, there were some real kind of things going on. The finale introduced all types of new horror and likely porn. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, no, that's gonna be bad. And the characters felt genuine and real, which was a really huge aspect of this that so many of these films really miss out on, I gotta say. I mean, that was the key behind Aliens, that you really wanted several of these characters to survive, and some of the ones you wanted to survive didn't, and that sucked. And it's the same deal in this, and that's one of the reasons it works so goddamn well. David Johnson, whoa, hope he does come back. I mean, that was nuts. And it's been a long time since we saw anything remotely like what this franchise is actually capable of. But I'm giving Predator and Prey 4 stars. Fortunately, Fede Alvarez really does know what's up with franchises these days. You just throw in a brutal number of Easter eggs, de-age an actor, and introduce some weird crap to actually feel like the franchise is moving forward. That's it. That's the formula. And it works.